If I enable the head tracking, then where I move the head and the cursor, that's where it's going to move. So if I want to rip it, I can
All right. Good morning, everybody. UFC Fight Night 214 weigh-ins set to begin here at the top of the hour. Brendan Fitzgerald is in the house handling the call duties this morning. Based on what we're hearing, it looks like Marina will be first on the scale. Amanda Lemos has not arrived in the UFC Apex just yet. They usually give the priority to the headliners. If they show up, they kind of let them get in and get out, even if other people are kind of have shown up early. That's the luxury you get as a headliner, but we have not seen Amanda Lemos just yet. Hopefully not an issue. Obviously, she was late getting here because of the travel delays from Brazil. You know, still got 2 hours just like anybody else, so not necessarily any reason for concern, but just something to note because it seems like a lot of weeks lately here at the Apex, it's been the headliners just first out of the gate and done. That's not going to be the case today. Scott McCray in the house. What's going on? Always here to have the dude. Let's go. Young Spicy. Mark Davis here. Got my cold coffee. To the dude. Cold coffee is a couple seats in front of me. He will not be talking on his stream. They don't care about you over there. We care about you. Let's go, Mark Davis. Let's go. Hard this week to keep us busy, right? I mean, we're already all looking forward to UFC 281. That's okay to admit, right? That's okay to admit. We're all looking forward to the big pay-per-view next week, but some fun fights here. Marina I think should earn a title shot if she picks up a victory here. Obviously, you got Rose Namajunas waiting in the wings as well. Of course, you know, I think a lot of that would boil down to the result of next week as well. But, you know, I don't know that Amanda Lemos would jump in front of her if she's able to pick up a win. Neil Magny, Daniel Rodriguez. Big fight in the kind of the tail end of the welterweight division. Two guys, you know, trying to keep their position among a fast-rising welterweight division. Yeah, Nick Bernard, exactly. Counting down the days to UFC 281. You know what I mean? That's just the truth. Look, there's going to be some good fights, and everybody here, man, they deserve your respect, and they're going to put on a great performance. But, of course, we're all looking forward to that blockbuster card next week. Justin Villegas, yeah, the Raiders didn't look too good last week. Last week was the guy that got shut out, right? That was brutal. Dev the dude. Hey, need some photographers from time to time. Where do you reside, my friend? Where do you reside? Yeah, final three fights are really good. Sherman and Parisian, you know, coming into the week, it's just kind of a heavyweight fight. But, man, I really enjoyed both those guys at media day. So I'm pretty excited about that one, just to see how it all plays out. A couple really good interviews. Takir Ulanbekov versus Nate Menace. That's a good fight at flyweight. See how Nate reacts to 125. Grant Dawson, Marco Madsen. I mean, the undefeated Marco Madsen. Grant Dawson, a guy that, you know, a lot of people have high hopes for. Has obviously an impressive career record. So, you know, a big one at lightweight there to maybe get themselves into the rankings. So, like I said, there's stories on this card, and there's personalities on this card, and there's fights on this card, but it's just so hard. I mean, we went from UFC 280 to Paul versus Silva to, you know, now we're looking ahead to 281. It's just impossible not to. Yeah, Stylebender Poetan. Come on, man. Okay, Missouri. Oh, I like Missouri. Missouri's good. Justin H., what's up? Oh, Young Spicy. Yeah, good fights in the Apex. Listen, I think it's going to be some fun fights. It's just the blockbusters, man. It's hard not to get, you know, excited for the blockbusters, right? All right. It looks like it is 9 a.m. Looks like we've got the Honorable Jeff Mullen in position, and we're Brendan Fitzgerald.
Good
ready to
morning,
go.
everybody. We're going to start these weigh-ins. First fight tomorrow at 1 o'clock local time. We start with one half of the main event, third-ranked strawweight Marina Rodriguez. Official weight 115 and a half for Marina Rodriguez. Next to the scale, Mario Bautista. Official weight 135 and a half for Mario Bautista. Next to the scale, Tamires Vidal. Official weight 134 pounds for Tamires Vidal. Next to the scale, Shailen Nordenbecker. Official weight 145 and a half for Shailen Nordenbecker. Next to the scale, Miranda Maverick. Official weight 125 and a half for Miranda Maverick. Next to the scale, Nate Maness. Official weight 125 and a half for Nate Maness. Next to the scale, Poliana Viana. Official weight 115 and a half for Poliana Viana. Next to the scale, Jin Yu Fry. Official weight 115.5 for Jin Yu Fry. Next to the scale, Grant Dawson. Official weight 157.5 for Grant Dawson. Next to the scale, Mark O. Madsen. Official weight 155 pounds for Mark O. Madsen. What do we got? I can't see. What's your name? Oh, Tagir, sorry. Next to the scale, Tagir Ulanbekov. Official weight 124.5 for Tagir Ulanbekov.
All right, so it looks like we've reached our first break. Grant Dawson came in at 157.5. No word on if he'll continue to cut. I mean, I say it, I imagine so, but when you come in that early with a miss, I mean, you're technically limiting the time that you have to cut, because you could have kept cutting until 11 a.m. So it'll be interesting to hear what the decision is there, and then find out exactly what happened. Because typically, you know, the commission can give you 1 extra hour. So if you're looking for that extra hour and you come in first thing in the morning, you've actually technically limited yourself on how much time you have to cut. That, weird decision making. Let's see Chris Costello there. Let's see if he's got any word. Waiting on Grant to see.
Yeah.
Let's talk to the doctors first.
Yeah. So Sean gets here, we'll chat with him, see where we're at.
Thank you, sir. All right. As expected. No word yet. Let's scroll back up in the chat, see what everybody's doing this morning. Nick Bernard to Polakostas. Did he go live with you, Sada? That is crazy, 2 days in a row. I get it, though, but... yeah, they can definitely make him wait. John without an age. John Castillo, what's going on? Yeah, my kid actually has a soccer game tonight, and then his last game of the season's Tuesday. It's good because the cold weather just set in. I'm not trying to be outside for an hour and a half. Nothing on Rose. Justin Barrasso over at Sports Illustrated actually talked to her briefly around the release. There's a documentary that came out. So actually, if you guys want to keep an eye on this on Fight Pass, I think November 11th, if I remember. No, it says November 9th is the release date. But there's a documentary called Doug Rose, Mixed Martial Artist, which I guess they've been following her for like 5 years, which obviously Rose, certainly a very open, honest, intriguing character. So it's a documentary film. It premiered at the Austin Film Festival this past weekend, and then it'll actually be on Fight Pass starting next week. And she kind of alluded to the fact that she was waiting on a title shot, but we'll see. To me, I mean, to be honest, if Marina Rodriguez wins this weekend, I just don't see how you deny her a title shot, and that's with all due respect to Rose. Especially if Carla beats Shang Weili. I mean, how do you put that fight back together, right? We know what happened. You can't put that fight back together. So, to me, and Marina said the same thing. Media day, I asked her, and she said, I think a win, no matter how I win.
Next to the scale, Ludwig Scholinyan.
Gets me a title shot.
Official weight 135.5 for Ludwig Scholinyan. Next to the scale, Daniel Rodriguez. Official weight 170 pounds for Daniel Rodriguez.
Leach was robbed. Oh, Rudy calling for Tagir getting finished. Tagir was looking skinny. Came in under. That was crazy. Hey, yeah, Nick. I agree. I think Rose needs a win right now. So, to me, I think Marina's fighting for a title shot. Now, I guess maybe it gets interesting. Like, if Amanda wins and Zhang Weili wins, then maybe you could let Rose sneak in at that point, right? Because I don't think you'd necessarily have Amanda leapfrog her. So maybe that would be the scenario. Kieran Taylor, what's going on? Christy J, good morning. Card of the year. Yeah, we were kind of saying at the beginning, like, I think it's okay to say, like, I do think there's going to be some fun fights, and there's a couple of interesting stories. Like I said, potential #1 contender fight in the main event. You know, welterweight ranked athletes going at it in the co-main event. A couple names here and there trying to crack into the rankings. You know, Nate Maness, how does he fit in at flyweight? Madsen and Dawson, can they break the rankings at welterweight? But, look, we're all looking forward to next week. So this is just a nice way to pass the Saturday. Enjoy our afternoon with the sport we all love. You know, some people are going to get some paychecks. That's what matters. And then we'll get down to the business of the pay-per-view. Justin Villegas. You had the matchup wrong, huh? John Castillo with the OG Mark Madsen reference. Scrolling up a little bit. Yeah, Nick, I was a little surprised about that too because, at Media Day, I asked Grant, hey, what was the process here for short notice? And he was like, ooh, wasn't short notice for me. I've been training for 10 weeks. But it is true, man. Like, there's a big difference between being in training and being in training with a fight signed. And he said he kept having difficulty getting a fight signed and, getting an opponent and had a bunch of things change out. So
60K Alex B. How are you? It's good, man. Yeah. You mean podcasts? Lando Venata next week. I'm doing a sit down like UFC style, like a big 3-camera shoot with Sean Strickland. So that will keep me on my toes. Hey, it's on YouTube, so I think just go. But whatever feature they turn it into for TV is gonna have the button going. I don't know. I pride myself in being there pretty easily able to talk to anybody in that format. But I'm like, this might spin off the rails real quick.
Because you don't know what's going on.
No, like I just saw on Twitter like the clip with Brendan Schaub, and he's just like, and then he mentions Ellen, and then he's just like, who's a cunt, by the way?
Yeah,
everybody knows, and I'm just like, my follow-up there is just like, why do you feel the need to do that part? Like where you just go off a tangent, then insult this person like really bad, and then keep going on that, and then it's like, where do we go? So steering that.
I'm listening to Brendan Fitzgerald. Sounds like if you're looking for a Brendan Fitzgerald update, it sounds like he's got Lando Venata lined up for an interview, and then Sean Strickland, the infamous Sean Strickland.
At the heart of it, he has a pretty amazing story from obviously growing up on.
Yeah, definitely good Cage Warriors. Definitely good Cage Warriors, and I agree that main event's a banger.
And then rise to being now a top 10 guy, Yeah,
I'm just check that out this afternoon.
Yeah, Nick's just he's great to have in the gym because he's so funny and he's rough around the edges. Just no filter.
Justin Villegas with the message there.
I just try to.
Oh, Nick, I guess.
Get a line and go with it.
Let's see.
Kind of the same thing for
Let me put my headphones in, hear what you guys are hearing.
Try to just have 6 bullet points. Maybe I get to 6 and follow up. Maybe I get to 3 and we go an hour. And then I think a really valuable interviewing skill is to go down.
Too funny.
A lane,
John Castillo.
take all the side streets.
No, they put out some coffee for us and some tea, but I can't do hot tea in the morning unless I'm in England. You know what I mean? If you're in England, you get the tea just because that's the culture. But here you got to go with the coffee. We used to at least get a lot of water over there, which is nice because I'm usually trying to rehydrate a little bit this early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? But they've stopped giving us the bottled water, so now it's just coffee or tea. So I got a nice little cup of black coffee, styrofoam cup, gas station style. That's how we do it.
No tradesies.
Oh yeah, Nick. Yeah, the cancellations were never official. I guess they were all, hey, we're trying for this fight, we're trying for that fight, we're trying for that fight. That's what I'm assuming. He was the only one that said there were 6 names. I certainly was not aware of that.
57 and a half, 10 minutes into the window. Huh?
Oh yeah, if it's past noon, Kieran, you go ahead and crack a cold one right open right now.
Yeah, it wasn't Aspen Matting up there. Oh shit, I should do my voice then.
All right. For anybody that may be just joining us, head on over to mixedmartialarts.com to get a full updated list of the results. But as it stands, We do have Marina Rodriguez in, official at 115.5. She was the first person on the scale. Amanda Lemos has not weighed in just yet. Hopefully not a concern, but again, she did arrive late into town. You know, there were travel delays, and that's just always concerns me a little bit, especially, you know, especially when you're traveling from another continent. It's one thing if you were like, my flight got canceled from Florida. I can't get there till tomorrow. Like, all right, whatever, no big deal. But that's a long flight from Brazil. So hopefully everything's good there. D-Rod is in at 170. We're still waiting to see Neil Magny, Josh Parisian, Chase Sherman. Obviously heavyweights, they'll probably be in around that. They'll be in the Andre Arlovsky slot of 10:30 a.m. That's the veteran heavyweight maneuver there.
I haven't seen it yet.
On the prelims, we're still missing Derek Minner, Shayna Young, Benito Lopez fighting for the first time in a few years, Johnny Munoz, Carlos Candelario, Jake Hadley, and Ramona Pascual. We did get a miss of Grant Dawson at 157.5. We have yet to hear official word on what his next move will be. He looked okay in terms of, you know, not like he had to be carried to the scale or was shaky or anything like that would lead you to believe he wouldn't be allowed to cut. But still have to have the doctors check him out and give us official word. And again, interesting, you know, something to note. Usually the Nevada State Athletic Commission will give you 1 extra hour from the time you weigh in, not 1 extra hour on the end of the weigh-ins. So by coming in early, you actually limit your time to cut. So we'll see how that plays out. Scott McCray, we did not hire the all caps guy. So far, just my man Cody Merrill's helping us out. We're working on some things though. We got a couple irons in the fire. Hopefully, we'll have some good news soon. Joe from H-Town coming in all caps. Feeling good, Joe from H-Town, I bet, right? Things are looking good in Houston right now. T-Bone. What's going on? Justin Fiegas has definitely been enjoying himself this morning. Maybe a little bit of herb, maybe a little bit of frosty beverages. Oh, damn, John Castillo. Ask D-Rod if he eats cup of noodles because they used to fight over them in prison. Man. Media day would be a lot different if you were there, bro. Rudy, I think he was just dealing with some injuries and stuff. That's my understanding. Yeah, there you go. Disco Duck said right there, and had some personal things going on as well. Yeah, that was my understanding as well. Just dealing with some injuries and some other things he had to address. So it's been a while. See if he can come back and make a statement. I mean, again, that's a storyline worth following, but you didn't exactly give him a gimme in his matchup. All right, here we go. Oh, I bet this is Amanda because I see if I lead.
Next to the scale, Amanda Lemos.
The future champion, don't forget to say that.
Official weight 114.5 for Amanda Lemos.
So much for any concern, huh? Here we are saying, well, I hope that travel didn't do anything. And she's under championship weight. Crazy. I think that fight's real interesting early. You know, I leaned Marina in that fight. I lean decision. I can see maybe something late. Fatigue more than anything was definitely added concern for me. The late travel, the late arrival, but I mean, look lean right there. Then coming in under championship weight, 114.5. So I think she's dangerous early. She's definitely dangerous early. That Marina Rodriguez pace. I think she's a great fighter. I think she, from the time I first saw her, so she's gonna fight for a title. And it just seems like this is the moment that she earns that opportunity. But Amanda Lemos is definitely dangerous early.
Next to the scale, Johnny Munoz. Official weight 135.5 for Johnny Munoz.
All right, so in terms of main card, now we're just waiting on Neo Magny. Then you got Josh Parisian and Chase Sherman, but obviously the heavyweights usually don't rush their way to get here. Still waiting on Derek Winter, Shane Young, Benito Lopez, Carlos Candelario, and Jake Hadley, and Ramona Pascual. Valid. Always count on Valid to come in here and be cheering his fighter on. Benito going to try to sell Batista a house. Hey, man. Always good to have something else going on. This fight game, man. It's a great opportunity coming to make some money, but it's not something to plan your whole life around. You got to have something else going on. That's for damn sure. Scott McCray. No, Fight Circus is not too wacky for me. I mean, I guess, you're supposed to be respectful and say, no, that is not. But, I mean, look, this stuff's all a little bit crazy, right? So, a little bit of wacky. It just depends on how my schedule's going, whether or not I watch it live, but I'm in for a little bit of goofiness every now and then. Disco Duck going with Neil, just because D-Rod has had 2 fights in 2 months. It's true, man. And it was, and had a staph infection in between. I mean, was supposed to fight last month. It's interesting. It's a good matchup. That's one that, if I'm putting money on, I'm staying away from. You know what's funny is I never bet money on fights because I always feel like it changes my opinion. Like I can't be unbiased about it. But I did open an account at Circa this past weekend. So I still haven't laid a bet yet, but I have an account there. I funded it with a little bit of money. And maybe I'll crack open that door again. It's been a long time since I put a bet on a fight. Just because, if we're talking, that decision, what about that decision? It was controversial. But if I have money on it, now I have a vested interest in it. I'm not unbiased anymore. So I'm not really a fan of journalists betting on fights, but because I don't feel like you can necessarily trust their opinion at that point because they're really, are they being honest or are they being tied to their money? But I did open an account at Circa. I was walking around, and that sportsbook, if you guys are ever in Las Vegas and you get a chance to go to Circa, check out their sportsbook. Oh, my goodness. That's pretty incredible. I was walking around down there, so I set up an account. I haven't placed a bet yet, but I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that's it, Scott. I like to have a little. It is fun. I enjoy betting. I always tell people you should bet on fights, not media, but I tell other people, even if you if you ever go into a fight, especially if you're in Vegas, like go to the sports book and put $2 on every fight. I mean, at that point, what, you're $24 in, $26 in. You probably already spent like $300 on your ticket or whatever. So put an extra $24 on it, whatever. It changes it when you got some action on it, man. It really does change it. I think it's fun. Joe, I know you don't like Dana White. I know you always like to throw out any jabs at Dana White when you can, but that whole thing about the fighters being banned from betting. Two things. First, most major sports, the athletes are banned from betting, and you know, to be honest, I mean, I think that's not necessarily because there was any problem. I think it's just because they're falling in line with the rest of the major sports organizations out there. Secondly, I'm going to be real interested to see how that's enforced, if at all. I can't imagine that there's any kind of task force out there monitoring the sports books to make sure fighters aren't betting. Now, you know, if they're posting stuff on social media about here's my tickets and stuff like that, then yeah, they're going to get their ass in trouble. But other than that, I can't really see anything happening. Zach, yeah, exactly, man. Oh yeah, Philly's in the finals, right? Philly and L.A. Tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or Sunday for the finals? Rudy recommending those WMMA underdogs. Justin Villegas, I don't even know what site you're speaking of. I don't think I've ever heard of that one. Chrissy J, Fight Circus is this wild ass organization that does pay-per-views on Fight TV, and they just do the craziest stuff you can ever. Like, they were the ones that, I mean, I think some other people have done it too, but like an actual fight in a phone booth. I think this one, I saw an ad for yesterday. If anybody else knows, maybe you can chime in. I think this one they have like, it looked like, what they call it, like fighting in a living room or something. I don't know. They just do like the craziest stuff. Like they posted a clip with like two dudes in tires, like in like road tires, like sitting inside them with like sticks rolling towards each other. I mean, they just do some crazy stuff. It's absolute bizarre. Zach. Oh, that's crazy. So Chrissy J does not seem car jiu-jitsu, phone booth boxing. Chrissy J does not seem excited. Oh, it's free? Oh, if it's free, I'm definitely gonna pull that up tomorrow. If it's on while I'm here at the Apex, that's a little bit of a distraction, I guess, but I'll definitely pull that up. Zach, man, that's crazy. World Series game and MLS final at the same time. All right, scroll up a little bit. Thank you, T-Bone. I got a new mic at my house, too. I like that quality audio. Gotta have that quality audio. I just got a new mic like a couple days ago, so my home interviews should sound better as well. MMA lock. I think Tagir just always wears a mask, if I remember right, because obviously for a long time it didn't stand out because everybody had to wear a mask. But if I recall, just off the top of my head, I think Tagir wears a mask every time. In fact, Tagir wore a mask to the media day, and then took it off, obviously, for the media day. But I think he's just a guy, a guy that likes to wear a mask. I was just seeing RJ saying that D-Rod looks drained a little. Making weight. Like I said, that infection, it's just an elbow. But if you've ever had staph, man, that stuff is not fun. It's not good. Zach Kaufman, still better than Slap League. I see a lot of pushback on the Slap League, man. I ain't gonna lie. I saw the test event. They had a test event here at the Apex. I was there for it. I saw it. I was entertained. I'm not gonna lie. I do get the concerns about, CTE. I mean, that's a real thing, but I think it's good that they will be tested. So, you can detect that stuff and find that stuff. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, at most, you can take 3 slaps. I mean, we're in a sport where you can take shin bones to the head and knees to the head and elbows to the head. I mean, so I don't know. I get the outrage to some degree, but, like, I'll be honest, I can't help but feel like it's because Dana White's involved. Like, if it was anybody else. I mean, slap fighting's been going on forever. Not forever, but for the past couple years. I mean, we've seen it. I've never heard all the outrage. And then the UFC gets involved, and now it's the worst thing on earth. I don't know. I think it goes Zach. So I'm still going to watch, yeah. I mean, look, I had the same concerns. And I was like, yeah, it just seems weird to me, with everything we know about CTE and head injuries, and that's the biggest concern. But again, I mean, we're in a sport where people get knocked out in training sometimes. We're in a sport where knees, elbows, shin bones to the head are all perfectly fine. Like, this is a violent sport. This is a dangerous sport. As much as we all enjoy it and as much as we love it, like, you do have to remember that. People are putting their health and their bodies on the line. So, I don't know. I think that's a balance. I've always, gosh, I hate to talk about this early in the morning, man, 9:30 in the morning on a Friday, but, I've always said, Kevin Iole, a Hall of Fame boxing writer, has personally attended 7 different boxing matches where a fighter has died. He's witnessed it 7 times. Think about that. Not just saw it on TV, was there when it happened. We, fortunately in our sport, haven't had that at the highest level. It has happened, of course, but we haven't seen it at the highest level. I always do wonder when that happens, and I hate to say that, but when it happens at the highest level, because it's a numbers game, and it will. I just, unfortunately, I think at some point it has to happen. Just statistically, how will I feel about it? How will that change? And I love this, man. I live this. This is all I do. This is all I do. Will that change? I don't know. So then you talk about, well, slap fighting and this and that. But, I mean, slap fighting, okay, they get no defense. The only thing is to knock them out. But at most, they take 3 slaps. At most. Maybe 1. And it's 1 shot. But what else are we learning about CTE? It's not the initial concussion, right? It's what happens afterwards. It's how the brain is treated afterwards that is the real issue. And if these people are actually being regulated and they're being suspended and they're being tested and all those things, that's a good thing to me. So, I don't know. I see the outrage, and it's funny because it really reminds me of when MMA was coming around and people were like, this is the worst thing on earth. It's human cockfighting. They're banning it. And I just remember at the time thinking, hey, man, some of us love this, and if all the participants are willing, I don't know. Zach, so true. That's actually true. Yeah, that was a sad story. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, Dada 5000, Zach. That's a good one, too. Good recall there. The one that scared me the most, I've said this before, so apologies if you've heard this, but the one that scared me the most was John Hathaway in Macau versus Dong Young Kim, spinning back elbow. And, dude, the sound that it made in the building was disgusting. And the way he collapsed to the floor, it just, his body went limp, and he laid there for a while. And Matt Ramonovich, a former UFC PR employee, he was in the building with me. We were sitting on opposite ends of press row, so we didn't even talk about this till afterwards. So it wasn't like it was a shared experience as far as at the time, but both of us had the exact same thought. Like the sound that it made and the way his body fell, I was scared. I couldn't type. I was doing at the time. I was doing play-by-play, and I couldn't type. Like I couldn't type a result. I couldn't type what happened. It was just jarring to me. I was like, oh my! And then once he got up and it was okay, you know, it still took me a while to shake it out. But you know, it's scary. It's a reminder. So I don't know. And again, that's a kind of a dark path to go down. But it's just like, oh, this slap fighting is the worst thing on earth. Like, how can you be a fan of this and then be like, but that is disgusting and I just can't allow it? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Nick Bernard, I never thought about that. Never even thought about concussions in NASCAR. That makes a lot of sense, though. Yeah, man, if they're taking those big impacts, like, especially like into a wall or whatever, like, my God, I bet. Gonzaga and Mirko, boy, that was a nasty knockout. Yeah, that was one. Gary Freeman, good point. You know, there's a lot of commissions that don't really pay a whole lot of attention to the matchmaking, especially at the regional level, because it's just tough, right? You don't have the body of work to judge these people by. Yeah, Chrissy Che, the Tony one was scary. That was scary. That was scary. He was down for a while. Evans Liddell. Dude, that was what a shock that one was. My goodness. Boom. Man, you guys are bringing up some memories right here. Scroll up a little bit. Oh, yeah, the Rose one. That was scary. Zach. Yeah. It's funny. Here we are talking about medical testing after Latifi and TJ both admitted they were injured. But they do have to do, like, brain scans and stuff like that. So, like, it's easier. I think it's easier to get away with a broken hand or a torn ligament than it is a brain abnormality. Because, I mean, I was just talking to Oscar Willis, right? Hot T. He's got a fight coming up in 2 weeks, taking an amateur fight. I was talking to him last night. He's in the process of going through his medical testing right now. And even for an amateur fight here in Nevada, he has to get blood work, an eye exam, and an MRI, and a physical. And the physical is going to be the easiest one to pass, right? Like if you have an issue, you can get past that. You can fake it, but you can't fake an MRI. Oh. Jessica I was a bad knockout. Curtis Blades. Adam Sella. Yeah. You're right. Hall knockout's crazy. MMA gloves are definitely safer than boxing gloves. And we had to fight this battle for a long, and I say we, like I'm part of the sport, but I mean, come on, it's all I've done for the last 20 years. So I guess I feel like I am part of it. And I guess I feel like I was part of it because I remember the time when it was outlawed and there was the argument. And I do agree, Deb, that MMA gloves are safer than boxing gloves. And that was the argument that had to be done before, governments and stuff, is that with an MMA glove, one shot puts you out. With a boxing glove, you just keep getting your brain rattled over and over and over and over and over, and it's those multiple concussive blows. Whereas in MMA, you get put down once, and again, you're not, hey, stand back up, count to 8, that sort of thing. So. Yeah, 100% Zach. And the most, as far as like the physical goes, and again, Oscar Willis is going through this right now, so he'll be able to tell more when he gets it all done. But the most I've ever seen a commission dude. Now again, you got to go through a doctor, but I mean, what does a doctor do? Just like do 10 squats or whatever? I mean, I don't know. They just basically want to see your range of motion. The most I've ever seen a commission do is I've seen him ask a guy to get down and do push-ups. Just to see if, oh no, that's ironic. I just realized it as it came out of my mouth. I've seen him ask that before. All right, staff getting back in place. All those boxing, but yeah. The Trevor Whitman, I know he's had discussions with the UFC. I don't know what their hesitancy is to change the gloves. I think this is me remembering, so I may be 100% wrong. If I remember, I think maybe they own the company that makes them, and so it's a cost issue. But I don't know that. Oh, Neil Magny off to the side. Let's get back.
Next to the scale, Neil Magny. Official weight 170.5 for Neil Magny.
Yeah, that D-Rod and Magny, that's a tough one for me, man. That's a tough one because I can see issues for both of them. I definitely see past the victory for both guys. And Neil Magny's just a tough one, right? I mean, that dude is just always a tough out, always expecting to be in there. So that's a tough one for me. I see the oh, okay. Dev has Neil as a lock. See, it's just tough, man. I don't know if I could put either of those guys as a lock. I mean, yeah, to me, man, that's a toss-up. I should pull up the odds right now, taking a look at it. Let's see here. Yeah. Checking out the odds. It looks like it is damn near a pick 'em. Looks like Neil Magny a slight favorite in most places. Yeah, it's kind of how I see it. Like, I feel like Neil Magny's a slight favorite in my head. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. D-Rod and Imhad back to back. Gary Freeman says D-Rod's going to smash. He definitely can. Like I said, I see past the victory for both for sure.
Hey, how are you, Dan? What's so funny, because I was literally just last night, I was trying to get a little bit, and I was like, I need to go in so I could just get my hands trimmed. Because that's all I want is like the tiniest little trim on there. Yeah.
All right, let's see. By the way, if anybody's just joining, full results over at mixedmartialarts.com. Still to weigh in, Josh Parisian, Chase Sherman, but of course, heavyweights. You're expecting them to roll in around 10:30 or so. The Andre Arlovsky slot. Derek Minner still to weigh in. Shane Young, Benito Lopez, Carlos Candelario, Jake Hadley, Ramona Pascual. So, only main card fighters are your two heavyweights, but still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 prelim fighters still to go. So, a little bit going on there.
I was going to say the last one I sent another one. That's 2 days ago. Yeah.
John, do you know the media Wi-Fi password?
Yeah, it is. Hang on. Damn it, I tried to turn down I tried to turn down the audio. Oh, Hallie, look at that. Good Karen would love to hear that.
That was Sid's first hit. That was the best one so far. That was a good one. US, I don't think it was obviously.
The Maverick fight. I mean, Maverick fight, that line is massive. Pretty crazy to see there. I think the Viana Junior Frey fight's a great fight. Yeah, young Eli's in school this week. Last week was Nevada Day, so he was off, so he came with me. No, Kenny.
Who?
Kenny.
Ken.
Yeah, he might have.
Ken. Generally,
Yeah, I think that's a good fight. But yeah, okay. I did meet it first. Okay, thank you. I mean, not like anybody's here to hack into the Wi-Fi, but I figured that was just the respectful thing to do, was turn the audio down as I handed out the password. Yeah, it was fun. I got to bring my kid with me last week. He was off of school, and it was a slow week, so bring him. Slideshows of your weekend. Man, my weekends are the same every weekend. I'm here on Friday and then here on Saturday. So my weekends are pretty routine. I gosh, I had a slideshow pop up. You know the way your iPhone makes the way your iPhone makes little like slideshows or messages or little you know, what do you call them? Just mashups of your stuff or whatever. But I was looking last night through my phone, and there was one that showed a picture of my son. So I was like, let me see what these are about. But it was actually portraits of me, I guess. It was like pictures I had taken with people over the years, but one of them was Robert Follis. And so I posted that on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys saw that overnight, that's why I posted that. Just a reminder, what a great dude that guy was, man. Gone far too soon. And it's kind of wild to have the iPhone bring it up. But yeah, my weekends. Sorry, that took me down a rabbit hole. Just you talking about slideshow that came up for me last night. My weekends are pretty routine. They're pretty routine. Friday morning here, go home, finish working. Got a soccer game tonight. Eli's soccer game tonight, next to last of the season. Didn't make the playoffs, unfortunately, so we know that Tuesday will be the last game. And, yeah, and then back here tomorrow for the fights. All right, Aaron Johnson, face-offs. Yeah, it should be at 11 a.m. local time, so 1 hour from now. Still got like 8 people to weigh in. Justin Villegas, so true. It's like the Hangover and Groundhog Day every day. Just do the same thing over and over. Blue Shirt Squad, Family Guys, 4 Against Army, Kids in the Other Garage. Guys, we do need a name here, don't we? I got to figure that out. MMA Roadies, I'll take that. Shout out to anybody that gives a listen to the MMA Road Show. Myself and Cole Coffey have been holding it down for 397 consecutive weeks. Have not missed a single week of live content since we launched the show almost 8 years ago. Crazy, man. Show number 1, sitting outside of an Airbnb in Florida on a gym visit trip that we were making 8 years ago. Crazy. Yeah, shout out to you, Gary Freeman. Props to the MMA Roadshow. This past week we had Hot T, Oscar Willis, back on for the first time in a long time. He's been in training camp for a fight that he's got coming up on November 19th. I'll actually be calling that. I don't know if it's televised yet. I'm hoping it is. I haven't heard the official word yet. It's for Tough Enough. It'll be at the Circa, downtown Vegas. But Tough Enough, who I've worked for a long time, they're recently signed for their pro shows to be on Fight Pass, which is cool. So our Sunday show will be on Fight Pass, but the Saturday show is an amateur show, and their amateur prelims are usually on BN Sport. So I'm hoping that this one is as well. But it's a Saturday night event. It's a special event. It's a charity event. So I'm not 100% sure yet if it is televised. But if not, if it is, and you got beIN Sport,
They're not even here yet. I think we got 8 and
you can see hot tea.
I think we got 8.
Yeah, there's 8. 8.
Close. You were close.
Yeah, Gary, Oscar's in shape, man. He's been working hard. Him and Cold Coffee. Cold Coffee's dropped like 50. What's that? What's that? It's about the grant that missed. Yeah, there's 6 on the prelims plus the 2 heavyweights.
Thanks, Dave.
It should be 8. Yeah, Chrissy, I'll be calling it. I'll be on the mic. It's usually me and Dave Farah and Jason Mahoney, who are morning radio DJs and good friends of mine. We've all worked together on Tough Enough for a long, long time. Man, we've probably been calling those fights for 10 years, more. Yeah, so Oscar and Cold Coffee, they both started the Train Alta program, which used to be known as Wimp to Warrior. They both started that in May. And originally it was supposed to run from May to September. But I guess there was an issue. Something happened with the date. And they couldn't get the date for the fight. And the whole Train Alta program, again, formerly Wimp to Warrior, you know, you do a full MMA camp. Like they're there at Extreme Couture, like 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 days a week, every week, you know, doing full-on MMA training. Justin James, Juan Camilo Ronderos were the 2 coaches for him, you know, putting them to the grinder. And they were supposed to have a fight. Well, the whole thing is you don't have to fight, but if you want to fight, you can. Cold Coffee never wanted to fight. He just wanted an opportunity to experience it and, you know, get his weight loss journey on point, which he's down like 50 pounds. But Oscar did want to fight. He was like, yeah, I want to take a fight. I've never done it. I want to do it. But there was an issue with the date, and so it got extended for 2 months. So they've been training since May, getting ready for this fight on November 19th. So, yeah, I'll be on the call, which will be fun. It's nerve-wracking as well. I did the same thing for Richard Hunter, who many of you might know. Still dabbles in the MMA game a little bit. Hosted Phone Booth Fighting for years. I don't know if they're still doing that podcast with Frank Mir. I don't think so. But he took a fight as well, and it was super nerve-wracking because I had known Richard since his days in Dallas radio. Him and I both, I grew up there. I don't know if he grew up there or not, but he worked there for a long time. That's where I grew up, and I knew him from there. And then came out to Vegas, and he ended up losing, which was just tough, man. It's tough to watch somebody like and try to call it. It is not, you know, to try to be down the middle. So yeah, we'll see. Should be next week, or November 19th is the date. We're doing back-to-back Tough Enough shows, November 19th and November 20th.
Oh, nice color scheme.
Cold Coffee versus Casey Lyde. Yeah, Cold Coffee does not want to fight. He enjoyed the training, but he does not want to fight.
Evie's wearing purple too. All right, here we go.
He's of an age where he's past it. Interim featherweight fight. Alan Yair, Alan Emmett, Yair Emmett. It's tough, right? You got to leave. There's 3 guys that really all have a case to say that they deserve to be there, and yet none of them has like that definitive, like one of them has to be. 2 guys win by injury. 1 guy wins a fight that a lot of people don't think he won. So I think it boils down to scheduling and location, and that's not the fun thing to say. But I think if you're being honest, out of those 3 guys at featherweight, I mean, I guess if anybody, it's Allen because he has no losses. I mean, he's undefeated. So I guess if you're saying of those three, who deserves it the most, I guess that I'm just thinking of arguments you would make. I'm not saying that I would definitively make that argument because he's undefeated, but hasn't been in the highest profile matchups as until recently. So out of all three of those, it's just going to boil down to location and who's available. If you're doing a fight night in Mexico or something like that, like obviously you're going to have Yair in it. If you're going to England and you need a title fight on there, obviously you're going to have Arnold Allen in it. Going to Sacramento, guess who's going to be in it then? It's unfortunate. It's just with 2 injury results and 1 controversial result, I just don't see anybody that, I don't look at those 3 guys and say one dude has to be in there or it's not a legitimate fight. Yeah, Zach, bro, the next 2 weeks are going to be crazy. So this coming up week, Thursday night, we've got CFFC 114 in Florida. Friday night, we've got Battle at Bragg, which is the first collegiate wrestling event on Fight Pass, which is pretty cool. It'll be at Fort Bragg. So it's going to be, not only is it a historical wrestling event, but it's also, on an Army base, kind of a troops, it's in partnership with the U.S. Army. And then I'm going to fly Saturday to New York for UFC 281. And then the following week, it's Friday night, CFFC 115 in Tunica, Mississippi. And then Saturday and Sunday is Tough Enough here in Las Vegas. So we got 5 commentary gigs and a UFC pay-per-view in the next 2 weeks. So November is a crazy month, man. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, CM Punk is supposed to be back. Last time I talked, had a production call the other day, and CM Punk, and his schedule's crazy, so sometimes it changes last minute. But as it stands now, Punk is supposed to be there, so good to have him back. And Brendan Fitzgerald's picking up the mic.
Next to the scale, Chase Sherman. Official weight 255.5 for Chase Sherman.
Yeah, they're trickling in today, Chris. Real slow.
Yeah, Punk going back to WWE. It'd be fun. Obviously, I didn't follow his early wrestling career, but I've enjoyed watching him be back. You know, we've become friends since working together, so it's been fun to watch his journey back. So I know him and Vince. Obviously, I know enough about wrestling to know him and Vince did not get along so well. So maybe the things have changed. That's an open door for him. I don't know. But he's supposed to be back on the mic, so we'll see. Maybe we can work in some wrestling talk on the air. It's always funny because I have no idea what I'm talking about. Kieran Chilson is obviously a lot of fun on the mic as well. Chase has been looking good on the scales, Brandon. He's definitely, I think that win, man, his energy this week was so much better. I think that win changed a lot for him. And, all right, looks like we got another. Maybe we're going to get going here on these last ones.
Next to the scale, Carlos Candelario. Official weight 128.5 for Carlos Candelario.
All right, so 128.5 for Carlos Candelario. That's significant. You're talking about 30% range right there. I don't know if they'll let him reweigh or not. The other interesting thing, too, is Grant Dawson. So Grant Dawson came in awfully early for his miss. We still have not gotten an official update from him. But, I mean, we got to be getting around that time because Grant was pretty early on, right? So we got to be right around 1 hour from when his initial weigh-in was. You know, the UFC News Twitter tweets them out as they happen. Let's see what the timestamp on that was. Oh, I guess they don't tweet out misses. Huh. I guess the UFC News doesn't tweet misses, I guess, because I don't see it. But Mark Madsen, they tweeted it out at 9:06, and Madsen was right after Dawson. So Dawson had to be 9:05 or 9:06. So it's already been an hour. Huh. Yeah, I mean, I think the whole, not giving Aspen Ladd a shot at 145, writing on the wall there. Oscar, I think they could still make a push for Kayla at 145. So Kayla had told me at the beginning of the season this was going to be her last season. So I saw it made headlines yesterday, but she had already said that early before the season even started. But if you think about it, it just makes sense. I mean, cutting for her 4 times in a year, and not even a full year. It's not January to December, right? It's like April, October, or whatever. So, yeah, it's not. It doesn't make sense for her, and for 2 reasons. So that's one reason, is the cuts don't make sense. So the other thing is just that she wants the biggest matchups possible, and she wants the biggest names possible, and that's tough to do when you're kind of leaving some of the matchmaking up to chance with the playoffs. Now with the regular season, you can schedule those 2 fights however you want. But again, this year, they tried to have Bud, they lost Bud, and then now you got to get somebody else in there because you can't just push it back to another date. You see, so she wants the biggest fight she can get. She wants the names that she can get. And the problem is with the season format is it's good, but it has its drawbacks in the fact that you lose control over stuff like that. She wants to make sure she gets the biggest names possible because to her it's important that she proves herself as the greatest. So, but anyway, all that said, I think the UFC still could make a play for her because she could cut to 45, twice a year if she had to. Just 4 times is a bit much. But, I mean, the UFC hasn't shown much interest in the 45 division, so I'd imagine, they're going to try to do some super fights over at PFL next year. Obviously PFL has been pushing for the co-promotion with Bellator for the Cyborg fight. Josh Parisian is here, but they're trying to locate Brendan Fitzgerald so that he can announce Josh Parisian. Next up to the scale.
Next to the scale, Josh Parisian. Official weight 265.5 for Josh Parisian.
All right, so your main card is all weighed in at this point. Grant Dawson was over at 157.5. We've not gotten any official word on whether or not he continued to cut or will be allowed to continue to cut further. Still waiting on a handful of prelim fighters, and it looks like we're going to get at least one more now. Who will emerge?
Next to the scale, Derek Minner. Official weight 146 pounds for Derek Minner.
Yeah, Nick, the Hadley one obviously a little bit nerve-wracking at the moment. Yeah, I'd love to see Adam weight. Yeah, I see a couple of people mention. Yeah, Zach, I absolutely say the UFC should add an atom weight division. To be honest with you, I never really understood what they were doing at 45. I mean, other than the fact that it gave Amanda Nunes a chance to be champ, which is, I guess, good marketing, but it just never seemed like there was a really full commitment to the division. So, truthfully, I never really understood what exactly they were trying to do with 45. But 105, I think, would be much more competitive and much more entertaining. As you said, I mean, there's a number of athletes out there on the regional scene that could be exciting at 105, and there's a handful of, 115ers right now that really should be 105, but since it doesn't exist, they're fighting up a division. So I'd like to see atom weights as well. Kieran Taylor coming strong with the updates in the chat. Much appreciated. Shannon Young, Benito Lopez, Jake Hadley, Ramona Pasquale still left to weigh in. And the Dawson and Candelario misses. Oh, thank you, Man in Black. I'm trying a little bit. I'm up and down. I haven't seen the promo yet, though. I'll have to check it out. I did film that a while back. Hopefully it came out okay. Oh, just saw them. All right, here we go. This is a callback to earlier. Scott McCrate sent me this message. What does this stuff even mean? All right, Fight Circus 4, the card tonight, live on Fight TV. What is that? Here we go. A 2 versus 1 fight. MMA symmetrical, modified Muay Thai. What does this stuff even mean? Wheel of Violence, a Lethway grudge match, upstairs, downstairs, only legs and only arms, Indian leg wrestling, Siamese twin kickboxing, white collar boxing, and living room MMA. Oh, it's free. November 6th. Oh, wait. November 5th. So tomorrow. Oh, okay. That's perfect. Tomorrow night. Free on Fight TV, 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. midnight Eastern. Free on Fight. A Bob Sapp challenge? I mean, what is the Bob Sapp challenge? I gotta know what that is. I'm looking at the fight card now. Too funny. Too funny. Too funny. I think this is actually in Thailand, if I remember right. It's actually in Thailand. Let's see, bro. Yeah, scrolling up. I think respecting the stream. I appreciate that.
It gives them something to look at. It's no skill.
Yeah, I think I don't know that they don't necessarily have a relationship with Shannon anymore. I think they still have I think Shannon Knapp still has a good relationship with the UFC, but I do think that she realizes as well, like, man, you build a whole division and then you give the division away. Like, it's good for the sport, but it's really hard for your own business. You know, it's tough, especially when you have to give away so many at once. Like, I mean, I think Invicta doesn't necessarily want to see themselves as just a feeder promotion into the UFC. They want to be, you know, a premier destination. If they can do it with divisions that don't exist in the UFC, then that only helps them, you know. It's hard. Like, obviously, I do commentary for CFFC, and you know, there's nothing more I love than, like, seeing guys win, or girls, obviously, and get an opportunity to move to the next level. But as a promotion, it's hard because, like, as soon as you put some investment in somebody and you build them, and this is not just CFFC, this is any regional promotion, you know, any developmental promotion, then you got to start over again and start over again. So it just forces you to keep identifying talent. So it's a challenge. And that's if you're giving away.
Next to the scale, Jake Hadley.
Now imagine if you're giving away a whole division.
Official weight 126 pounds for Jake Hadley.
All right, so the Hadley concern has been addressed. Hadley was getting concerned. Amanda Lemos was concerning her earlier, and they weren't even the ones. It was Grant Dawson at 57.5, Candelaria at 28.5. We await updates on them. Rudy knows what's up. CFSC is the best regional promotion. Appreciate you. Yeah, man, we got a busy schedule coming up, too. We got CFFC 114 next Thursday night. Next Friday night, Battle at Bragg. Then the following week, CFFC 115 in Tunica, Mississippi, just south of Memphis. And then we've got a show in Atlantic City in December. And we may still have one more before the end of the year. Fingers crossed. I appreciate it. And yeah, Zach, you're right, man. Like, champ, like, I mean, the belts are defended so infrequently in CFSC because, man, you win a title, you get that call, like, right away. So it's a challenge. But the matchmakers, the staff over there, man, they always do a great job identifying new talent. You know, Contender Series obviously is hard for all the development organizations as well because you're talking about 100 fighters that get taken. You know, and now, geez, how many of them get signed? And if they don't get signed, they're coming off a loss, you know, which is difficult to deal with sometimes. So, there you go. Kieran Taylor coming in with it. Look at that. Kieran Taylor giving the updates. So you see there, Anna. He's got you up to date. And I know, Zach. I know. Trust me, I want it to be confirmed too. Let's see. Don't tell anybody. I'm pulling up internal documents. Oh, nothing confirmed in the internal documents either. So I can't help you. I was gonna try to break some news. Appreciate you, Kieran. Much appreciated.
Pretty good. Missed you. I'm glad Phil wasn't here.
Yeah, just a. So if you didn't see Kieran Taylor's update in there, and I appreciate you, Shayna Young, Benito Lopez, Ramona Pascual still left to weigh in. Yeah, Benito. Nick Bernard, fair. Benito Lopez, a little worrying now. Hasn't fought in 3 years. True. I mean, body hasn't made weight in 3 years. Is it not reacting to the cut the way you thought it would? You just never know. Just never know. Obviously hoping for the best, but you know, and it's still time. I mean, look, it makes no difference if you weigh in at 9:01 or you weigh in at 10:59. You make weight, you make weight. So we still got half an hour left, but you're just being honest. This is your thought process, right? Like early on, it was like, ooh, is Amanda Lemos going to be okay? Like she got here late, she had to travel from Brazil. Boom, she hits it. Ooh, Hadley missed before. Gonna be an issue now. Boom, he hits it. So could be no issue at all. You know what I mean? But these are the conversations we have on a Friday morning when we've got 2 hours to chat with ourselves. No Kieran, no word on either fighter yet. Chris Costello, we just call him Cos, PR man for the UFC. He is working and moving around and looking to get updates, but he has none for us thus far. Sorry, Anna. Best of luck on your strained shoulder. Sprained shoulder, I should say. Not even strained. It probably is strained in addition to being sprained. Best of luck on your shoulder. Yeah, Nick, exactly. A move down as well. That's a concern. Yeah, to be honest, that's a good reminder right there. Because to be honest, Nick, I in my head, I thought Ramona's last fight was at 35, but it wasn't. It was at 45. So this is her first fight at 35. Good call. We'll keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. Featherweight, Kieran, featherweight, yeah. And in my head, for some reason, I thought her last fight was at 35, but it wasn't. Yeah, Nate was a wild one moving down to flyweight. You know, was 3-1 in the UFC and decided to make the move down. He said he just had some tests at the PI, and they did the whole body scans, and they were like, yeah, you can make it. And he did. We talked to him media day. He didn't seem to necessarily be loving the move down, but he did say that he was fine and, you know, was going to be okay. And he made it. All right, I'm going to do a little photo editing here real quick. right, Jeff Mullen making his way back. Three fighters left to weigh in. Let's see how many of them we can get here.
Next to the scale, Benito Lopez. Official weight 138.5 for Benito Lopez.
So another miss. Now we've had 3 fighters miss today. We are waiting on updates for all of them. Yeah, you just wonder, it's like, maybe your body doesn't react the same way. Like maybe you were the same weight you were like the last time you had a camp, you know? Yeah, 3 misses, quite a few. We'll see what happens again. No updates yet on any of them. Grant Dawson, Benito Lopez now, Carlos Candelario earlier. No updates on any of them just yet.
None of the 3 misses are cutting anymore. We'll see what we do on the fight soon. Okay.
They're all done?
They're all not cutting. Correct. We'll see what happens on the
All misses are done cutting. So no additional weight will be cut by any of the 3 fighters that have missed so far. We'll see how that impacts the fight. Waiting on Sean Shelby, I believe, to arrive and get official confirmation there. Yeah, MP. I mean, you got to call for 30%. I guess. Let's see here. I mean, Dawson 1.5 pounds. Maybe 20 there. 2.5 for Candelario. 2.5 for Benito. I think you're probably getting 30 there. Again, there is no guaranteed statute. It's negotiations and what the fighter asks for and what the organization and the commission recommend. So, but I'm just going to throw out a guess. I'm going to say, pure guess, 20% for Dawson, 30% for Candelario and Lopez. But we'll see. Yeah, with that Dawson, I saw a lot of talking. We were talking about this on the MMA Roadshow because I was a little bit surprised to see how big of a favorite Grant Dawson was. To be honest, I thought that was going to be more of a pick'em type fight, or even a Madsen favorite. But how does that factor in now? You got a significant weight miss. For a guy who said coming in, hey, this wasn't short notice for me. I was preparing for 10 weeks. I just wasn't sure who I was going to fight against. So it does make you wonder, is there something going on that he couldn't run or whatever to get the weight off? So we'll see.
Next to the scale, Ramona Pascual. Official weight 137 pounds for Ramona Pascual.
Oh, man, 4 misses on the day. We don't know. Obviously, Ramona Pascual just finished. She looked to be calling for the screen. As Jeff Mullen pointed out, it's not going to be a pound. Your clothing's not going to be a full pound. So I think it'll just come down to whether or not she takes the extra hour. Yeah, Michael Zegner. So 20% is kind of like the standard, right? But it's not like written in any bylaws anywhere. So typically the higher amounts are for either significant misses or for repeat misses. Somebody that's a repeat offender, they'll go up a percentage. But here's the thing, is that it's always negotiable. So this is what I've recommended for as long as I can remember. If you're a fighter, if you're in a camp, ask for more. Ask for more. Your opponent misses, ask for more. Say, I'm not fighting unless I get 50%. Maybe they'll go 40. Maybe they'll go 30. I mean, 30 is typically about as high as it gets, but you can always ask for more. Yeah, still waiting on Shannon Young as well. So fingers crossed we're not looking at 5 misses today. We've still got, what, about 14 minutes left. Yeah, I can't remember a car where we had this many misses before. There's been a few over the years where you're just like, what the hell's going on? But 4, potentially 5 is a lot. Oh, here we go. Fingers crossed.
Next to the scale, Shanna Young. Official weight 127 pounds for Shanna Young.
Five misses. I think so. This is wild. I think everybody's over there. The commission's kind of scrambling to figure out what's going on here.
And they were all over a count. Like none of them were
Yeah, that's why I haven't used the curtain. Because they're just like, this? Why doesn't make it?
Well, yes, for now, because they ship yellow kit off to the dark red.
But like,
Ramona and Shannon can keep going, maybe.
Yeah, you think so? They
have
came
to
in
get-
late,
they
only a
have to
pound.
Lose another 0.5 or 0.6 or 7.
Yeah.
Are we live here, John?
Yeah.
How's the new gig going?
Good, busy. I got, but it's cool. One of the big things was like, because I really enjoyed doing commentary, and I was,
Yeah.
they were making it tough for you, like, so I got, well, dude, this is crazy. So like next week we got CFFC, we got the Battle of Bragg, which is collegiate wrestling at Fort Bragg. So that's Thursday, Friday. Yeah, it's my first collegiate wrestling on Fight Pass. So Thursday, Friday, and then I'll fly to New York on Saturday for the pay-per-view. And then the following week, we got another CFFC. Plus come back here, we got 2 tough ups here in Vegas. So yeah, it's all good. Yeah, so I've done that one for years, but they weren't on Fight Pass for years. But it was funny. They signed with Fight Pass like January before the pandemic, and like the first event was supposed to be like March 24th. And it's just like, yeah. So like it was brutal for a while because they were like, yeah, we got on Fight Pass. I was like, we can't do events for 2 years. No, so I just filled in once. Yeah, he fought last night. He looked good. I was hoping, because it was a one-time fill-in. Like they have a guy, he just couldn't do it, and so I filled in. But I was still kind of hoping. I was like, dude. So the night that I called the fight, he just had an opponent that just wouldn't fight him. Bro, the fight last. Yeah, the kid just wouldn't fight him. The kid was just like clinching and pushing. Dude, last night, he looked. Yeah, it's worth watching last night, dude. Like. Bro, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Damn, I think he's like 21. But, you know, I mean, obviously Dana's an Irish boxer, you know, he's like, he loves it. But dude, the kid last night looked good, dude. It's worth watching. He looked like he fought this really, like, tall guy, but instead of, like, getting too close, he stayed away from him. So, that was good. But,
Yeah, man. Starting to build my new YouTube channel.
yeah, TikTok, it wasn't enough for you to conquer TikTok, now you got to conquer YouTube as well.
I like my YouTube channel. My previous one that I put podcasts on got hacked and deleted.
Are you
You
serious?
hear about that?
No.
So I was using somebody for SEO, and I was just like throwing shit at the wall. I didn't know anything. I was just like, whatever. I was just like, maybe this is the missing link. A lot of people are just like, I can't believe I didn't know you had a channel, whatever. I had like 3,000 subscribers. It was mostly just podcasting clips.
Right.
And then this guy did some SEO through email. It wasn't through like Fiverr. So that was a mistake. And then I owed him like $20, and I was gonna pay him, but I was just like, hey man, thanks for the work. I'm just like, I don't think, like, I probably said some buzzwords. I was like, it looks like fake views to me, so you know, I don't need anything. And like, he still had access to my channel. I was gonna like swear about whatever. So I put porn thumbnails on like all of my shit. So I went to bed, and for YouTube, I went to bed one night. It was fine. He did that overnight at midnight our time. I woke up in the morning, it was like channel's been terminated due to severe violation. And so I was just like, okay, I get it. That was a fuck up. I was just like, can't you just suspend the channel and then like get in touch with me and be like,
Find out what happened.
Yeah.
Like we can resolve this.
So like I was going back and forth to YouTube. I used our UFC YouTube people. You know, I had like a conference call with somebody who worked at YouTube. They're just like, yeah, I think we can get the channel back, so that'll be good, whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And I was just like in this holding pattern. But I had like all these ideas. I was just like, it doesn't. I was like, my podcast and Fight Night, like YouTube, it's really tough to get people to stick with it for 45 to an hour. Right. You know? Like we talk for an hour. Most of the average view time on my podcast. It's crazy. Unless you have like one really good one, but it's tough to do that. Unless you're like Joe Rogan, you know? And so, like, we got forth, and I was just like, well, in the meantime, I got these ideas. I'm just gonna start a new one, and then we'll see. Like, and then like last week, I was like, yeah, we're not gonna be able to get it back. It's too far gone. So now I'm at like 300 something, starting over. But
Follow Brendan Fitzgerald's new YouTube channel.
my ideas are way better, like way tighter.
Yeah, because you got experience now. Now you know.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'm like learning how to leverage what I have. So like last week I did this thing. I got this piece of fan mail.
I saw that. I don't know where.
So
I don't know if I ran across on YouTube or where I saw it. But
So
I
like
thought that
UFC
was
shared
brilliant.
this to their page.
Is that might be
Yeah.
live.
So this is like, so it's like stuff like this.
That's brilliant.
And it's like, this is what I need to do.
Yeah,
Like little fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then save
I
it
thought
for
that was.
podcast
I thought that was great.
Yeah, it's cool.
I saw that. Really good. I mean, A just cool, but B
And
good
now I'm
content.
going around and just, and that was all edited and done on my phone. Everything.
You
Start
edited
to
on your
finish
phone,
on my
too?
phone. Yeah. So I was like, I can fuck around with this, especially when we get on the road and I got like camera gear.
That's
So,
awesome. Good
but
for
I was
you.
like going back there and I was saying, like, what's the first fight you ever watched? Asking a bunch of people. What's the first fight? What's the first UFC fight?
Yeah.
You know?
That's
Little
awesome.
Stuff. Little stuff.
That's
We'll do
awesome.
some stuff, John.
I like it.
We'll get in there.
All right. Hopefully, you guys got a little Brendan Fitzgerald update there. Follow his new YouTube channel. Be careful who you give access to your channel to. They screwed him. Lesson for all there. Scale has been pulled. Now, I have seen situations where the scale's been pulled and they bring it back or they'll weigh. So we do know that the first three aren't weighing in again. As far as Ramona Pasquale and Shannon Young, we do not know that yet. So we're waiting official update there. They were late. They only missed by a pound, so maybe that could be updated. We'll find out. All right, I'm going to switch lenses out so I can go to a wider lens for the face-off. So if you guys have been here before, you know you'll lose picture just for a second, but the stream will stay up. The eyes will stay up. I'll have it back up soon. Cost still way more than the last two. I figured.
Well, we did. Shannon's definitely going to try.
Shay's definitely try. It looked like Ramona probably wanted to as well.
I'm not 100%
Not sure.
sure yet. We'll square them off first and let them go, and then
figure it out.
we'll figure it out. So, and all the get everybody squared off, and then we'll figure it out.
All right, so in case you didn't hear, Shannon definitely going to try. I thought Ramona would try yet. I guess that's still to be determined. And we'll get updates on everything as soon as possible. Yeah, Kieran, 5 misses, man. Crazy. Brendan, don't go for the cheap SEO work. I guess you guys did hear that lesson. Very, very good lesson. Very valuable lesson there. Don't go for cheap SEO assistance. And if so, if you do, make sure you get your password back from them as quickly as possible. I do see fighters lined up ready to go. So we'll get these face-offs underway. We'll get these all done, and then we'll see what we can find out on the update. Looks like they're gonna. Looks like Shanna Young. Maybe they're gonna do the face-offs out of order so she can go back and continue to cut. I'm guessing that's what's happening here. Looks like she's lined up.
And we'll just go from the beginning. Straight down. Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna go move into position. Fitz does have a mic in his hand. I'm guessing it looks like they're gonna maybe scruff Shanna Young first so she can go continue to cut. Which, if that's the case, would indicate, I'm assuming that Ramona Pasquale is not gonna cut. But again, this is all just speculation. We'll see it all play out.
Here we go, friends. Sean Shelby on stage to stare these fighters down. UFC Fight Night tomorrow night on ESPN+. We're going to begin our stare downs with a women's flyweight bout. Shanna Young takes on Miranda Maverick. We wanted to start with that bout. Shanna Young will continue to complete the weight cut after this. That's why we started with that one. Now we'll go to the top of the card in the women's bantamweight division. Ramona Pasquale takes on Tamires Vidal. Up next, we are in the flyweight division. Jake Hadley takes on Carlos Candelario. Up next, we are in the bantamweight division. Johnny Munoz takes on Ludwig Scholinjan. Up next, A women's strawweight matchup, Jin Yu Fry takes on Poliana Viana. Up next, we're in the bantamweight division. Benito Lopez takes on Mario Batista. Our featured prelim is at featherweight. Shayulen Norden-Becka takes on Derek Minner. Main card, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. It's a 5-fight main card on ESPN+. It starts in the lightweight division. Mark O'Madsen takes on Grant Dawson. Up next, we're in the flyweight division. Nate Maness takes on Tagir Ulanbekov. Up next, we're in the heavyweight division. Josh Parisian squares off against Chase Sherman. Co-main event is in the welterweight division. 14th ranked Daniel Rodriguez takes on 13th ranked Neil Magny. And in our main event, 5 rounds or less between ranked strawweight, 6th ranked Amanda Lemos takes on 3rd ranked Marina Rodriguez. That's your main event. 3rd ranked Marina Rodriguez, 6th ranked Amanda Lemos. We will see you tomorrow on ESPN+.
All right, face-off's done. Before we sign off, let me see if there's any updates here from PR man Chris Costello. If not, we'll have to send you to Twitter. Still waiting for now?
Yeah. So just Shannon's going to cut.
Just Shannon's going
to continue to cut.
Okay.
We'll see how everything else shakes out.
Shannon Young going to continue to cut. The other 4 will not. So All right. I'll go ahead and sign off the stream. We'll obviously tweet the update when we get started on doing some photo editing and all that good stuff. Fights tomorrow night. We'll have full coverage. Everybody have a wonderful afternoon, evening, weekend. Always appreciate you spending your time here on a Friday morning. Fun chatting with you guys. Have a great day.